Hello, friends. Welcome to this course on earned value management. I'm so excited to have all of you here. In this particular video, I will be giving you some information about my background so you are comfortable taking this course from me. And then we will get into what you are going to learn, how this course is structured, and some discussion on significance of data-driven approach versus gut instinct. Concerning about my background, possibly my passion for connecting with the people gave me an opportunity to sharpen my communication and articulation skills. This journey started sometimes in the year 1987 when I started in-house training program in technical space along with the handling other projects in banking, healthcare, insurance and manufacturing domain. This long journey, spanning 22 years, took me to some of the well-known names within India and abroad. Well, initially I did some technical training on mid-range systems, and after that I decided to foray into project management. Initial time in project management was tough because I had been interacting with the people who are working at the same level, and they were actually more interested in what they don't know rather what I know. Well, the repercussions were obvious. It was painful. Fortunately, during this time, I got a chance to work on some big engagements under the close surveillance of seasoned project managers, and that really, gave me a good insight on what project management is all about. So far, I have conducted many programs, both on traditional and agile. Today, while I look back in the past, I realize that getting into full time training and consulting profession was really a prudent decision because it gives me a unique opportunity to interact with the new folks, and each session gives me a bunch of new challenges. Well, friends, I won't bore you any further. Let's get into the agenda. This entire course is divided into five sections. In the first section, which we will be discussing today, I'll touch upon learning goals. We will discuss on traditional way of measuring the project performance. We will also discuss about decision making on facts versus gut instinct. In section 2, we will be discussing on unvalue management. We will be talking about terminologies and formula. In section 3, we will be going through an exercise, and you will see that how the various concepts in unvalue management relate to the real life scenario. In section 4, we would touch upon a very interesting concept in unvalue management. And then finally, in section 5, we will be, wrapping up and close the session. Well, the entire discussion would be around earned value analysis or earned value management, which is a fantastic tool to evaluate the current health of the project, and based on the current health, in fact, the prediction is also possible. So now let's talk about a key question. What is the takeaway at the end? Well, I have designed this course keeping in mind two different kinds of audience. First one are those who are preparing for PMP certification, and others who are still monitoring the project progress using traditional way, and they want to understand how EVM is a better approach. So let's talk about the PMP aspirants. PMP exam tests knowledge, application, and analysis. So this exam is more than a test of an individual's memory. Most of the questions are situational based and could really pose a challenge if you are not able to visualize a real life scenario or handle a medium size or a large project in the past. Looking at the previous trend, there are always 10 to 15 numerical questions, and most of the questions would be drafted in a way giving a feel that you are handling a project and need to deal with a specific scenario. Most of the candidates who fail in the exam is predominantly due to the reason that they just try to memorize the concept and find everything vague and easy in the exam. This course helps you in understanding the concept and how these concepts can be applied and how to analyze the data. For those who are still using traditional method, they just end up reporting the project progress, either saying that the project is ahead of schedule or behind the schedule, or the project is over budget or under budget. Integration part is completely missing in traditional method, and most of the time this technique, it actually gives a misleading or one-sided picture of the project to the stakeholder. So friends, let's begin our journey. Okay, just visualize that you are handling a project. You are already halfway done, and one fine evening, while your entire team is working, and you are busy preparing some report for the management, you see that your boss walks in, and he gets into a very very casual discussion, and over a period of time he starts talking about the project as well. Well, Sanjeev, I see there is hardly any escalation coming in from the customer side. The team is also working very hard, and nobody is logging over the weekend, and nobody is working, late evening. And last night, when I was talking to the manager at the customer side, they were also very, very vocal about the good work done by the entire team. What do you think? Whether like we would be able to make good profit, or do you think that we'll be able to deliver much before the timeline? Well, sir, I think we would be able to do that because in the last project we had a similar kind of a situation and we ended up making good profit. We were able to deliver much before the deadline, and that resulted in a repeat business from the same customer. So here, the one very important thing which I would like to stress upon here. When the project manager says that he would be able to deliver much before the timeline, or when he said that he would be able to make good profit, doesn't matter whether it is 20% or 25%. This conclusion is completely based on his gut feel. It's based on his gut instinct. It is completely based on a single fact because out of his 20 years of experience, 15 times his gut feel worked in its favor. So, friends, what do you think about this scenario, or rather the response from Sanjeev? Do you think that one should be taking this kind of a subjective approach while concluding that things would be just goody goody at the end of the project? And more importantly, what is the basis for saying that you would be able to deliver before the deadline and end up, making hefty profit? Is this statement based on any fact? Is it based on any data? No, it isn't. It is completely based on gut instinct. It is based on another fact that project manager thinks that his gut feel worked in his favor in the last 20 projects, so will work this time as well. But imagine what if his gut instinct backfire at later point of a time? Well, the results would be catastrophic, both on the personal front as well as for the organization. There is another perspective which I would like to bring in, that resources are scarce. When I say resources, I actually mean time and money. No organization has both the things in abundance. No organization will say that you are the one responsible for this project and here is a blank check and 50 members project team. Well, you can complete this project whenever you feel like, whenever you find time, when you are done with your personal commitment, you can come over to the office and you can do the work on the projects. Ladies and gentlemen, the takeaway is we all have to work within some well defined boundaries. We all have to work within some constraint. We are all surrounded by lots and lots of limitations while professionally handling the projects. So, while we are taking a decision or while we are predicting something in the future, it has to be based on some data. It has to be based on some fact. It has to be objective. It has to be quantitative. And that is where earned value analysis comes into picture, which is an amazing tool for doing the same. Well, one of the all-time favorite marketing guru, Peter Drucker, he once said that if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. Well, when you think about this quote, it should immediately become apparent how true it is. Because if you can't measure something and know the result, you can't possibly get better at it. For example, it is really impossible to lose weight without stepping on a scale once in a while to measure your results. If you don't, you have no idea if you are succeeding or not. Well, how do you know that at the end of the project you would be able to save some $10,000 or you would be able to deliver maybe 2 weeks in advance? Well, or looking at the current picture where you and your team, who is really slogging and struggling to complete the work, well, you don't have any idea how much amount of extra money you would be needing or the number of extra man days you will be needing at the end of the project. Earned value analysis is actually one very fascinating way of looking at the project from three different perspectives: scope, cost, and time. And as per PMBOK, earned value management in its various forms is a commonly used method of performance measurement. It integrates project scope, project cost, project schedule measure to help the project management team assess and measure the project performance and progress. Well, if we talk about the origin of value management, it actually emerged as a financial analysis specialty in the US government program sometimes in 1960. And later it became, a significant branch in the project management and cost engineering. The use of one value management also provides useful analysis of overall project performance. And since then, the popularity of EVN has grown significantly, prompting many to rely on it extensively over the year and in multifaceted projects. As far as PMP certification exam is concerned, you will find 10 to 15 numerical questions from on value management. So you have to pay your utmost attention to the next section wherein we will be talking about in depth. Well, before I conclude section number one, let me talk about traditional way of measuring the project performance. Using traditional way, we compare planned cost with actual cost in a given time frame, but that does not give me any idea as to how much amount of work is done. It does give me fair idea about the funding performance, but there are other things as well. If there is a deviation, we are not in a position to know at what level the team needs to perform in order to deliver the project on time. Maybe we are lagging behind by 40%. Do we know is the project team in a position to catch up this 40%? there is no such mechanism which can give me this kind of data. Well, going to the management for extra budget is the easiest option. Another thing that nobody is going to approve it unless it is supported by number as to why do you think it is actually needed. So, friends, you will see the answers to all these questions in section 2, wherein we will be really, jumping inside the water and start learning, swimming. This brings us to the end of section number 1. There is an activity for all of you. You will see few multiple choice questions. Request all of you to go through and attempt all those questions. Thank you. Hello, friends. Welcome to this course on